Bush was like involved in rituals or things along those lines, like bacon and eating people and wild.
Yeah.
What do you think that stuff is?
I don't know. I don't.
Do you think it really occurs?
Music, so thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
Witchcraft, you are bowed to the systems of the world. You have bowed. Any of you who are going to Beyonce's concert, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. How dare you call yourself a Christian?
Kanye West just walked into a convo with Joe Rogan, and what came out has the internet shook. According to what's being whispered, the music industry has a shady side. We're talking power, influence, and something much darker behind the scenes. And when names like Beyonce, Erykah Badu, and others start getting pulled into that conversation, you gotta ask yourself, are these just wild theories, or is Kanye and Joe Rogan pointing at something folks weren't supposed to notice? Because once you start paying attention, patterns clearly emerge. And one of the names, folks, people keep bringing up, Beyonce. Now let's be clear, nobody's denying her talent or work ethic, but what people are questioning is the influence. The streets are loud about it being demonic, having control of the whole industry. Because how do you explain this? Why is it that almost every time an artist wins an award, they feel the need to thank Beyonce? Not the producers, not their team, not even their own journey first, but her. And we're not talking about just one or two people, but a lot. Remember when Lizzo literally broke down emotionally on stage saying Beyonce changed her life?
Who believe in you and support you. Beyonce, whoo! In the 5th grade, I skipped school to see you perform. Where you at, Beyonce? My eyes are wet. I love you. God bless y'all.
What about Adele, who broke her Grammy in half just to share it with Beyonce?
And I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful and gracious, but my artist of my life is Beyonce, and this album for me, the Lemonade album, was just so monumental, Beyonce. It was so monumental and so well thought out and so beautiful and soul-bearing, and we all got to see another side to you that you don't always let us see, and we appreciate that. And all us artists here, we adore you. You are our light.
Even artists who came before her, like Mary J. Blige, still felt the need to acknowledge her in that same way.
So I have a lot to say, so please don't roll the wrapping up music over my thing. So the way the world is now, I think people think icons are born that way. They become a legend overnight, but that is definitely not the case. It takes a lot of time, hard work, and a lot of surviving trial and error to achieve greatness.
Even Shabuzi thanked Beyonce at the 2024 People's Choice Country Award, leaving folks asking why.
Any artist could ask for, and thank you, Beyonce. You're amazing, yeah.
As one user bluntly put it, what did Beyonce have to do with this guy winning? They all kind of want people to worship Beyonce. Disturbing. Another said he should have said what he was thanking Beyonce for. Even Britney Spears, an icon, were ahead of Beyonce, sang praises too. Now pause right there, because that's not normal industry behavior. Gratitude usually flows upward to mentors, pioneers. So why does it feel like the hierarchy flips when Beyonce is involved? Is that just respect, or is there something else influencing that moment? And this is where things start getting even more uncomfortable, because people went back and revisited that 2009 VMAs moment. You remember that Taylor Swift wins. Kanye jumps on stage saying,
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
At the time, people called Kanye crazy, disrespectful, and out of line. But now, people are asking a completely different question. What if he wasn't interrupting, but redirecting attention away from Taylor? Because think about it, if Taylor had just stood there, accepted the award, and not acknowledged Beyonce, would the reaction have been different? Would her career have stalled? Could Kanye have actually been trying to protect her? That changes everything. And now old stories, rumors, things people laughed at before that suddenly don't feel so funny anymore are popping up, like the whispers around Beyonce's performances. Not the music or choreography, but what happens before she even steps on stage. There have been stories floating around for years about closed door preparation, candles, specific formations, moments that some people described as ritualistic. Now, of course, fans say that's just artistry, creative direction, sage design, and that's fair. But then you have folks who claim they've been around those environments, saying the energy felt different, heavier, more intentional. And then there's the whole Sasha Fierce conversation. Was that just a stage persona or something deeper tied to how she performs? Because even Beyonce herself once described Sasha as something that takes over when she's on stage. Now, combine that with what people are saying now, and suddenly that conversation doesn't sound so simple anymore. Y'all recall the 2018 situation. Kimberly Thompson, her former drummer, working closely with Beyonce for 7 years, and then out of nowhere, she files legal documents accusing Beyonce of extreme behavior, saying she was being harassed, that her phone was being monitored, even going as far as mentioning spiritual attacks.
I think she went and killed the girl Cats.
Okay.
A girl went to court and charged her with extreme witchcraft. She was hypnotized. She was dragged. Beyonce came and she was in there eating on her and she was asleep. No snacking on his people cats. And guess what? They wouldn't give her the restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too, which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician. She was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music, handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington.
Now, the case didn't go anywhere legally. It was dismissed. But here's the part that stuck with people. Why would someone risk their entire career making claims like that? And what happened after? She struggled to find work. Now, maybe that's just how the industry works. Or maybe that's where the questions start. And just when you think it couldn't get any deeper, the internet pulls in even more names. Because Beyonce doesn't exist in isolation. There's Jay-Z, there's Diddy. There are conversations around powerful circles, private gatherings, influence that goes beyond music. And once people started connecting those dots, old tragedies started getting pulled back into the spotlight. Like Aaliyah, her passing, the rumors that never fully went away, the speculation about who was connected to whom and who stood to benefit after.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling.
She was our age, and it's just scary because that could have been any one of us. And she was an angel, and I know that now she's with God.
Now again, nothing proven, but the fact that people are still asking questions over 20 years later, that says something. And then there's Pimp C, outspoken, unfiltered, never afraid to call out the industry. Before his passing, he hinted at things behind the scenes that didn't sit right with him.
That's right. So I immediately picked up the phone and called Pimp C, because all I was trying to get was 100,000. When Dame cut that $1 million, I called Pimp on the phone like, yo, Pimp, and him and Jamal was in the house. And I could hear a tussle or some type of confrontation, right? And I'm like, calm down, bro, y'all calm down, Pimp.
I ran up the cable bill.
They was fighting. Okay, they was fighting like hard. And I'm like, Pimp, stop whatever you doing right now. I told you what was going down with Jamal when you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. No, we want 100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm watching Dan with the checkbook, he writing it out. He was like, ain't that with, over there with Jay-Z? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell him to take that check to go give it to Tupac Mama, man. He's gonna be stealing all my shit. I was like,
What?
The street has also been loud about Pimp C having access to a wild tape involving a major celebrity. Some people claim the tape allegedly involved Beyonce.
Who was in this Pimp C tape?
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, you know, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man. I was, boy, hey, whoever it was, they had to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. A lot of people figured out because, you know, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose, you know, as a Montana goose. You know what I mean? So, you know, they also know who was having money at the time. So it's not really hard to figure out.
Pimp C died in 2007, officially from lean-related complications and sleep apnea. Still, some close to him felt the circumstances were never fully explained.
Like, tell me something. Like, you know what I mean? And the most I could get was I never got if the door was locked or not. I just had to break it down. Because if the door wasn't locked, that means somebody left out.
Right.
If the door was locked, that means he felt good. He locked it. He was in there.
Right.
It's a whole different level of what happened. A lot of shit goes out the window if I just know that part.
Right.
But then it's like I heard some clothes on or something. I don't know. Like I don't really know if all this is true, but I just heard parts like. I'm like, what happened to my guy?
Right.
And then they come out with the official. It was a mixture of some stuff, the prescription and something else or something that I don't really know. But with me, I never really heard something that would give that closure for me. I never really heard anything.
Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough? You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston?
Now let's shift the focus for a second, because Beyonce isn't the only name tied to this conversation. There's also Erykah Badu, and her situation is different because unlike Beyonce, Erykah doesn't run from the mystical label. She leans into it, calls herself a high priestess of neo-soul. Her entire aesthetic, music, and performances are all built around spirituality and energy and inner transformation, and she's been open about that, talking about rituals.
I'm not clairvoyant like that. I don't see things, but I definitely feel it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like we can visibly see your third eye.
Mine?
Yeah.
You might can see it.
And trust the internet, they ran with it. They've been talking about how people say being around her changes them. How even artists like Andre 3000, Common, and Jay Electronica seemed different after being in her orbit. And now Beyonce been seen in the same dark light.
I didn't know, because you know, they tell me Beyonce's a witch and like that, that we should be scared. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's an Ifa. So when she wears her yellow, that's Oshun.
Oh.
You know, riches and beauty and love and all of that, which I can see why she's connected to Oshun. But yeah, so it's another kind of tradition.
So now, step back and look at everything together. Kanye raising questions. Artists repeatedly thanking Beyonce in ways that feel unusual. Old accusations resurfacing. Stories about rituals and preparation. Erykah Badu's spiritual image getting pulled into the mix. Joe Rogan hosting conversations about powerful circles, and names like Beyonce, Erykah, Diddy, Jay-Z constantly appearing in the same discussions. Individually, each piece can be explained, but together, it starts to feel like something bigger, and that's where the real tension is, because this isn't about proving anything. It's about patterns, perception, and why the same names keep showing up in the same conversations over and over again. And trust the online community been loud. One dude hit hard saying, if they think Beyonce is the only person in witchcraft in the music industry, then they are very naive. Another wrote, I went to Beyonce's concert in Chicago some years ago, and I looked around and it was the weirdest feeling. People crying, praising this person as if she's his God. I was like, why am I here? This is weird. Now the spotlight is on you. Why do so many artists feel the need to thank Beyonce, even when it doesn't make sense? Why do stories from years ago keep resurfacing and hitting harder today? And when it comes to Erykah Badu, is her spirituality being misunderstood, or is there something people are picking up on that can't be easily explained? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the convo going. Oh, And don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more stories straight from the hood